I am kind of excited to be up here because it is fun, not just to talk about me, but actually to get my wife up here. She's, I don't mind being up front. It's not something I really look forward to, but I don't mind. I don't think Angie likes it at all. But, so I'm glad that she's up here with me. So this is, I think for me, more, not necessarily my testimony quite so much, but just a little bit about who we are and some of our journey and stuff like that. So anyway, this is the start of me. I was born in 1968, March 11th. So next Friday will be my birthday.
You know, that's my mom's.
It is. Oh, it's your mom's birthday, yes. We're birthday partners, yes. So I was born while my dad was in Vietnam. So that is, was that on R&R? Is that what that was? So that picture was in Hawaii, and I believe that's the first time I'd met him? Yeah. So that picture with my dad. So Mom on the left there, that was her doing this all by herself while Dad was serving our nation. So thankful for my father. Then the little picture down the middle is my baby sister, and she's in Arizona this week. Otherwise, I'd hope that she would be here. Her name is Kristen. She's 3 years younger than me, and I pretty much adored her. One of the things that we got to do as a family growing up was we did some camping, and I learned at a very early age that I loved the water and loved water skiing. And that was a classic picture of me as a cowboy, and I love it.
No life vest.
Yep, no life vest in a boat. Thanks, Mom and Dad, for taking good care of your kids. Yeah. So growing up in my house was, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of hard work, but I don't regret any of it. My dad taught me how to work hard. I hear stories of me at a very early age bringing in the firewood, and I don't know how old, but I know that at age 5, I guess it was my job to bring in the firewood. And I believe I had an aunt who thought that was cruel and unjust and couldn't believe it. But, you know, I learned a lot of stuff from my dad. And so working hard was one of them. My mom, my dad had fun, but my mom probably had more fun. And so I think I got that side from my mom. I love a good time, and I don't really see any pictures of fun other than the motorcycle, which my dad helped me to learn how to do. I would ride my sister around, and her and I both grew up on motorcycles, cruising around. I enjoyed band growing up. I don't know where the instrumental part of me came from. And some of you guys probably would go, Paul's got an instrumental side? Well, I kind of do. At least I did. I played
music.
I do love music very much. That was a big part of our life growing up, was cruising around in my pickup, listening to music. So, but I was in the band. I played the trumpet. My senior year, I played trumpet, valve trombone, and baritone, all 3. So yeah, little known fact that you guys didn't know. So I got challenged 2 years ago. Yes, I was in band with Carrie back there. So it was a lot of fun. Last year, was it last year? Not last Christmas, but the Christmas before. Yeah, my nephew begged me to do a duet with him at Christmas because he was learning the saxophone. And so I ended up pulling out my trumpet, and I sounded horrible, but I tried playing again, and I thought I did all right. So maybe one of these days I'll get up front. I don't know. Yeah. It would be fun. I would love some brass. Down in the lower right picture is my sister and her family. She's married with 2 kids, and they live just not very far from here. So she's probably one of my dearest and closest and best friends. We have a very unique relationship. We love each other. We call each other at least probably twice a week and talk. So, picture in the middle up there at the top was my day of making an outward expression of my faith. I was baptized. A lot of you guys might remember who that is there. That's Steve Keels. That was at the San Barlow pool. And I think I must have been around 15 or something like that, somewhere right in there. So I'd accepted Christ at an early age, probably about age 13, I think is when I accepted Christ. It was a lot of fun, very memorable for me. It was up at a camp up in Washington at Puget Sound. And I just remember I was either going to hell and going to burn, or I was going to accept Christ. I said, I want to accept Christ. So it was very transforming for me. And I loved it. So I think that's about it. There's my dad having fun with 3 of his kids. So anyway, yeah, I'll let Angie fill in some of the gap. Maybe she'll fill in about us.
Okay, so I was born March 15th, 1971. Down there at the bottom is my little picture. And then I have a brother and a sister, and we're all, well, my brother and I were only 10 and a half months apart, and then my sister came along 7 years after that. So we grew up kind of close, but not super close, but it was fun. I grew up in a very Christian Baptist home, went to church every Sunday and every Wednesday and every Sunday night. And I remember clearly coming to the Lord when I was 6 years old, and I was just moved beyond tears to be a part of, to have him part of my life and be a part of his family. So we grew up, we moved a lot, about every 2 or 3 years. We were traipsing off to another city or another state where my dad could find work and also be in the ministry. Yeah, we ended up here my 8th grade year and was kind of home since then. So it's kind of been nice to be in one place and get to know people and make relationships and have those family members and stuff close to us. My brother and his wife and my 2 nieces are in the bottom there. They just moved to Texas in August, so we don't get to see them anymore. It was kind of sad. And then my sister, she was married and got divorced a few years ago and has 2 kiddos, and then she passed away in 2018. So that was a big bummer. She just turned 40 and died pretty tragically. So that was pretty hard on my family. Let me see if there was something after that. So I grew up, I was a cheerleader in high school, had fun, loved youth group, went to Good Shepherd. Paul and I met there and had a great time. I had a really good family life. We were all pretty close growing up. I was really close to my dad. And yeah, but because of that, he really led me into a close relationship with the Lord. And that's just really sustained me all my life. And so I'm really thankful for that. And then Paul's going to do this part.
Oh, I get to do this part?
That's what you said.
So at Good Shepherd, through the youth group, I met the love of my life. And I think we started dating in 1989, I believe. Yeah, so it was late summer of 89. Invited her to go water skiing with me. That was basically our first date.
Well, my brother and his sister were dating at the time.
Yes, so, yeah, little interesting. My sister dated her brother for just a very short time. Invited my sister to go water skiing with us, and I said, well, why don't you bring me your boyfriend Dave, and maybe see if his sister wants to come. Well, that was when I set eyes on Angie, and I was like, holy cow. That was all. Well, she was a little ditzy. Is that okay to say?
I was super hyper in high school. I was a cheerleader.
Yeah, she was very much full of energy, and but on that boating trip, I thought, wow, she's matured a little, and she's always been a cutie pie, so that was fun. So fun pictures up there. I don't remember that upper picture. Was that? Oh, that was when we got engaged. Yes, that's down in California. Okay, that was here. So some of the fun pictures. So the one in the upper left is my college graduation. So I ended up getting a 4-year degree in civil engineering, and graduated from OIT down in Klamath Falls. And Dory was, I think, down there for that graduation. And so that was just a picture of me being cool down in the sun and enjoying Southern Oregon. What is the bottom picture, the middle picture? Just a fun picture. You guys got to admit, she's pretty cute, right? That's our wedding day, and that is me having some fun. As I've told you, that for those of you that don't know me, I love to have fun. I really don't care what I do or where I'm at, but whatever I'm doing, it's going to have some fun revolved around it. One of the other things that I've always loved is fast cars. That is a fun little picture of my pickup, and I was moving out, and we loaded up a couch that my mom and dad gave us. That's at mom and dad's house, and Angie attacked me in the back of that pickup on that couch. So you guys can see that there's a little smooching going on there. So lots of fun. The vehicles is something that some of you guys might know or might not know. Big part of my life, and that's a part that my dad used to have his fun with. I'll never forget when we test drove that pickup. It was hit by a TriMet bus. It was crunched on the front. Dad knew body work, so we bought this truck to fix it up together. We're test driving it, and Dad evidently knew the guy. we're cruising down the road, just going pretty slow, and I felt like it was fast because when it would idle, the whole truck would sit there and just shake like crazy. And I'll never forget, and I was a smart kid, he punches it just to see, he goes, well, let's see how fast this thing is, and he punches it, and it downshifted and rocketed so fast that my head went back, and I hit the black window. It took off that fast. And I thought, keep your mouth shut, Paul, because if you say, wow, Dad, this thing's fast, we'll never buy it. So we get back, and Dad tells the guy, we'll take it. So that's how I ended up with my very first pickup. And just to prove that he loves to have fun, I was at a softball game, left that softball game, and my parents were there watching my sister play. And I was there with a buddy, and when we left, him and I took off racing, side by side down the road, a 2-lane road. They could hear the engine racing. Mom was furious. She said, Gary, you better have a talk with him when you get back. I know those boys were racing and they're gonna hurt somebody. So Dad comes up to me and says, Paul, we gotta talk. He says, were you racing Nate? I said, yeah, I was. I only have one thing to ask you. Who won? So it was at that point that I knew that I was okay. So my dad loves to have fun just as much as I do. So that was the beginning of my love of pickups and actually my love of journey with my wife. What's that? What year were we married? Our date of marriage. Am I supposed to know that? Oh. 1991. 1991. We were married in 1991. Yeah, thanks. It's been quite amazing. I think I'll let Angie talk about this. This is a bunch of our brood.
So in 1994, we had our first lovely little daughter, Cammie. She's right here with her husband. She got married in August. And then 96, we had Courtney, and this is her and her current boyfriend. And then in 2006, we got to have these 3 little munchkins come, and in 2010, it was official party of 7 for us. So that was pretty fun. So then there's Tayson and Nate, Cammie and Courtney together, and then Shania. And it's been quite a journey. Parenting wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be. From the first time I had Cammie, she was a really hard baby, and I was like, what am I doing? This is not how I envisioned it at all. So God's brought us both on a really interesting road. I remember one of our other pastors, Jernigan, said something about when God takes you off-road, just hold on for the ride. So that's kind of what I've been doing. But it's been good because God just brings us closer when we're in our hardest times, and He's been really faithful with the church and with elders and family, and friends coming up, and then family, of course. It takes a village, so it's been a big, fun journey. And then you can start.
Yeah, back about the kids. We love our kids very much. They mean the world to us. It was life-altering welcoming the kids and just having our life go from a family of 4, and everything was pretty easy, and then becoming a family of 7, literally overnight. Those of you that don't know, it started with a phone call. Would you be willing to take 3 kids for a month? And we said absolutely, and a month turned into 3.5 years, and it was very clear that God had called us to open our arms and love these kids for the rest of our lives. And so it's been a huge blessing, and this church here has been a huge blessing to that growth for us. We probably would not have done as we definitely haven't done it perfect, but we wouldn't have done as well as we did if it hadn't been for this church body. And so we are extremely thankful.
Speaking of that, the overnight thing, we posted on the church, I don't know what we're on then, but we said, hey, we've got 3 kids, 2 boys and a baby, and we have nothing. So the next day we had diapers and toys for boys and bottles and food and meals set up. So the church just stepped up huge for us.
So great part of our journey. We love it. It's a little expensive now to go on vacation with a family of 7, just for you guys to know. But it's been a lot of fun. So this is a little bit about Angie and I and what we've the journey of what we've done and the fun stuff that we like to do. The lower left is one of my favorite pictures. I felt like I had to post that. So I took Angie, who was a city girl, to camping with boats and all this other stuff, and I drug her to Hell's Canyon, Snake River. Yeah, well, if some of you haven't been there, it is absolutely stunning. It is beautiful. The best part, or the worst part, is oftentimes we'll go to bed and or getting close to go to bed, and it's still over 100 degrees. So I concocted this great little air conditioner unit and put a dryer vent hose on it, and I ended up plugging that thing in and the tent went poof, and it was air conditioned. So we did that for many, many years, driving up to Hell's Canyon and spending a lot of time there. We have graduated. My wife basically said, I'm getting tired of sleeping on the floor. So we bought an older motorhome. Yes, we bought an older motorhome that we still have today. I think we bought it like 6 years ago or something like that. It won't pass DEQ, so if there's any mechanics in here, I could use some help right now. But that's our little ski boat, and we love to go out on the river. For those of you that don't know that thing in the middle, on the lower there, that's called a hydrofoil. So it's a big ski that you sit on, and you strap your rear end into it, and it's got this big long skag and a foil on the bottom, and you basically fly the thing. So that is me. I love riding that thing. I'm not very good, but well, I've tried going upside down, and that just hurts. I'm too old for that. So, and sometimes it's involuntary. It just happens. But that's because that thing's kind of crazy. Up above is us with a bunch of the kids in that boat, and yeah, all 7 of us did fit. Angie and I love Disney World. Shania's sporting her Walt Disney World shirt today. Love it. Thanks for representing. But we've been there a lot. But the last I could count was at least 30 times or more. At least, especially for Angie. So that's a lot of times flying east. But we love it. And the other thing that my wife has found a passion for is going to a NASCAR race with me. So I don't know how any of this has happened, so if anybody wants to come up to me and say, how do you get your wife to enjoy NASCAR races or fast cars? I don't know. That was just a blessing from the Lord, and so we went to Daytona just a couple weeks ago and just had a blast, so that's us there. I think that's Shania hugging me in the middle there, yeah, on the quad. So we are blessed to live on a farm with Dory, so it's just east of here, and it's quite big and quite fun. So that's my quad that I go on my little therapy rides with. And Angie, I'm gonna let you talk about some of these ones.
It's just fun pictures. We've gone to Disney with the family. Tayson got to dance with Belle one time. Yeah, go Tayson.
I was jealous.
We got to go on vacation with the Jones to Disney World a few years ago. That was a lot of fun. We've done the beach. This was Amaya and Tennyson that we went to the beach with one time and stayed at the Knowles place. This is Paul at the NASCAR race meeting Miss Somebody. I don't know. He was pretty excited about it, so I posted.
They even put a crown on me. I have a crown.
He's got a little tiny crown on it. That was pretty fun. So yeah, we just really enjoy right now with all the kids almost all gone. Paul and I get to go on a lot of dates, get to go on vacations together. He takes me shooting and dinner once a month or so, and we've just found a lot of things that we enjoy together, which I'm thankful for. And then these people here are Kathy and Gary, and Gary's been like a dad to me. Yeah, he's pretty special in my life, and Kathy's been a real, just a rock for me too. My parents split when I was in my 20s, and it pretty much devastated my life with my dad, and so he's been my dad. And then this is my mom and her new husband, and she was in France for a long time due to visiting my brother there, and then she got sick, so she had to stay there for a while. So now they're back and they're in Gresham, so we're pretty excited about that. But she's been a real spiritual blessing in my life too. So those two couples are pretty darn special in my life, in both of ours, yeah, and in our kids. And then this, I just had to show this because this is how funny he likes to have. This is how I married. My crazy man, he's an awesome water skier, and then he loves to have fun and look goofy. It doesn't matter to him how goofy he looks.
So thanks. I don't know if you guys have any questions, but Angie is the love of my life, and I'm just so blessed to have her be my partner in all of this, and so thankful that we get to do it together. Life has not been easy for us, but the one thing that has been steady and faithful is our love for each other.
And love the Lord.
And love for the Lord, yeah, absolutely.
That is our,
yeah.
That is mine for sure, and I know it's yours.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, that's it. If you guys have any questions or want to know what Angie's favorite food is, I'd be happy to let her answer. Barry.
So what do you both do for work?
Well, yes. So I guess if I were to talk about where I came from, I went to school to be a civil engineer, got a job right out of college doing it, and I did it for almost 3 years. It was just short of 3 years. And I wasn't meant to be behind a desk. I wasn't too bad at it, but I just wanted to build it. And my dad had a small excavation company, and basically we had talked about I was going to go to school for civil engineering and then work with him. And then taking that job I think was really important, but I called my dad up one day and said, "Dad, I'm ready." And that was in 1993. So I do excavating now. I had a blast doing it with my dad. Dad retired from the company that we have now in I think 2004. And I've been doing it ever since, and still doing it. Small company, love doing it. And Angie, I'll let him tell you what you do.
And he definitely was meant behind that desk. For those 2 years that he worked there, we would drive down and he's like, "Oh, I did that manhole. Oh, I did that gutter. I did that manhole." And I'm like, "Oh, this is awesome." So now he gets to build, and he's like, "I put that building in." I work at a public charter school right now as the school office coordinator. They don't call us secretaries anymore. And I do that full time, and then I just got to start being a travel planner, not a travel agent, for mostly Disney stuff, so I'm really excited about that. And I work for the church and do the books for the church too, so that's only a few hours a week. Good, let's go.
You're strapped into that thing that's flying.
Yeah.
What happens when you crash if you're still strapped in?
So he asked about that hydrofoil, and he's asking if you're strapped into it, what happens when you crash? It hurts sometimes.
Then you have to get yourself out before.
No, it floats, so you float in it and stuff like that. So usually if you crash, you end up, sometimes if you end up upside down, you just relax, hold your breath, and you float around and you pop right back up. And
It doesn't sink.
no, it's really quite fun. It's not exactly easy. Ryan would probably attest to it. It takes some finagling. It's not something that you can muscle around. Like when you're behind a boat, if you're like, "Oh, you gotta try to adjust yourself." We have more fun watching newbies get on that thing because they're bouncing and flying, and it's just like this rodeo. And man, epic crashes, and so it's pretty fun. Yeah, Ronan.
You went scuba diving?
Have I done scuba diving? I actually have. I took a class in college, and I got certified to do it, and then never did it again until Cancun. We went to Cancun, Mexico. I don't know, 5 years ago. And I got to go in a cave and scuba dive in a cave, so it was fun. We were with the Walcotts, and if some of you guys know Krista Walcott, she had never scuba dived before, so she's down there scuba diving. And because I like to have fun, I decided it would be really cool to swim up behind her and then go upside down and then swim under her so that she's looking down right at me. And I blew bubbles up in her face, and it was awesome. So, love to have fun. Any other questions?
So Paul, if she likes to shoot and go to the races, you better keep her.
I know, yes, yeah.
Well, my first rodeo, I was painting my nails, they told me, I don't remember that part. And then
At a
racing, at a rodeo, I was painting my nails. I was in high school or college, I guess. And then when my first race, I think I brought a bunch of magazines because I didn't know very much about racing, so I kept myself occupied.
And just so, I've been around firearms most of my life, but not so much into handguns. But on one of our dates when we were dating, we were over at Nate Holman's house, we're on the back porch, and we decided we're gonna shoot a trap, shoot some skeet. So Angie's never shot a shotgun, so watching her wheel that thing up, and she's like, "Okay, pull." She shoots, the clay pigeon keeps on going, and a robin. Her first shot ever with a shotgun, she clocked this robin. Yeah, so pretty fun. So this lately has been I don't know, it seems kind of weird to talk about it, but we have had a lot of fun, a lot of enjoyment. Just doing it together. We've gone to a couple firearms classes, courses, how to be safe, how to do it right, and we've just been having fun, and we make it our little date night. So about once a month we'll go to an indoor range that's just really clean and great to go to, and then we'll go to dinner. We've been with Barry and Vicky before, and taken some other people there, so we're just having a blast doing that together. It's been a lot of fun being with your wife and actually having a hobby that you both enjoy. So.
Quick question. I've always appreciated you guys have been through so much. Have such busy lives, but you always keep the main thing the main thing. You know, it's very evident Lord's in your life. And you guys were here at this church long before us even, since the beginning. How did the Lord lead you to Cornerstone?
That's a good question. We were just looking for a new church. And for me personally, I don't know where Angie fit with this. I'll have to let you tell your own personal side of that story. But Barry and I were pretty connected. I actually was an opener for High Ground back at Good Shepherd and had been in touch with Barry. And I was also the guy that when a retreat was coming, I'd be out at church service signing stuff, signing people up for this service. And just really stayed connected with Barry and loved him and knew that when he had retired from Good Shepherd, that he was looking for a new plan. And I just stayed closely connected. I remember coming home from work many times on my phone, not coming to the house, walking around because I don't sit still well. I'm kicking pine cones and everything else on the phone and finding out that there was potentially going to be a church starting. And I just said, I'm in. Whatever it is, I'm in. I want to be there. I want to be a part of it. I want to serve. So I don't know what exactly your journey was.
Yeah, it's about the same. We were pretty connected at Good Shepherd, and then Good Shepherd started growing really big, and we were like, we're not quite sure we're ready for that. And then Barry talked to Paul, and Paul was like, they want to start this small church, and it just more and more appealed to us and our family. I wanted my girls to know who the pastors were, and I wanted them to know who my kids were, and most of the pastors didn't know who my kids were. And God just really led us here. I mean, it just planted in our hearts to come, and the excitement built, and the faithfulness, and then the core group that were coming. It was like totally evident that this is where we should be and that Cornerstone should be. So it was pretty amazing. So we've been there since the very beginning. So it's been a privilege.
I think for us as well, you guys, you really don't know what you're missing out on until you're allowed to serve. And sometimes when you're part of something big and it's not that easy to feel connected, but when you get connected like here, it is a privilege to serve. And I think the Lord knew that we were ready and needed that. So.
All right, thank you.